Alright boys and girls, I hope you're having a lovely day. Okay, today boys, we are doing a cheeky little games I played. Now obviously the setting for this video is a little bit different than normal. Normally I'll do it in my office, but yeah, today I'm in the sitting room. The reason I'm doing it in here boys is I feel like it's a nice chill setting, you know, just chilling out on the sofa here with my dog. I don't know if you can even see him, but he's there. But yeah, I've been a very busy boy when it comes to the gaming this month. I've played a lot of stuff. I've been kind of stressed out in real life, and normally when that happens, I usually game a lot. When there's a lot going on, I feel like gaming is just perfect escapism. You can just focus on the game and sort of drown out the things going on. So yeah, we played a lot of games as you can see, but yeah, we're not actually going to be talking about all of them. There's a couple of games here that I'm not going to be talking about in today's video. The first one's going to be Simpsons Hit and Run. I've already done a whole video on this game. I played this entire game in 24 hours. It was a hard game. It was pretty stressful, but I did enjoy it. It was very nostalgic. And the other one I'm not going to be talking about, boys, is going to be Rule of Rose. Now, I'd love nothing more than to talk about this game because it is absolutely fantastic. It's not a perfect game, but I do think it's genuinely incredible. But the reason I'm not going to be talking about it is I want to do an entire video on this game, and I want it to be very in-depth. I feel like if I talk about this one today, it will be like an hour long, this video, so I'm not going to do it today. I don't know where this video is going to be either. It might be on this channel, it might be on my other channel. But yeah, basically, I want to get proper in-depth with this game because the story is absolutely mind-blowing, but we're not doing that now. Anyway then, fellas, we've still got a bunch of games to talk about. I've got like 10 games here. I finished the majority of them, but there's a couple I didn't finish yet. But yeah, we'll start off with this one, boys. I've not finished it, and the reason I didn't finish it is I just didn't really like it. Anyway, the game is going to be Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30. I found this game quite disappointing, honestly. I had very high expectations, and it was a bit underwhelming. Do I think this is like an awful game? Not really. I think this game has some really good ideas, but I feel like this version of the game is really bad. A lot of that does come down to the really low frame rate on this game, and I'm not really like too fussy when it comes to that sort of thing. I'm not expecting a PS2 game to run at 60 frames a second, but this game drops to really low frames where you can almost not play it. On top of that as well, there's no like sprint button in this game, so it already sort of chugs along at a really slow pace, and I also felt like the controls weren't very good. This is obviously a World War II game, but it takes a bit more of a tactical approach. You know, it's not quite like a Call of Duty or a Medal of Honor where you can just go in there and shoot people. You have to really think about how you're going to do things. But yeah, when I'm trying to get my teammate to do what I want them to do, they just didn't listen to me. Like, genuinely, I tell them to shoot stuff and they don't do it. I tell them to go into a position, they don't do it. They just didn't listen. So a lot of times my teammates would get killed, which just drove me up the wall. Then I would die because the game was running at fucking 2 frames per second. I also felt like the guns were really inaccurate. Like, I'd literally be shooting people point blank and it would, you know, sometimes hit, but there'd be times where he just didn't get hit with a shot, even though I'm shooting him. So I just found this game, I feel like it hadn't aged well. I'm pretty sure you can pick this game up on PC, so I feel like that version of this game is probably actually quite good. And I do like the idea of a very squad-based tactical World War II shooter. You know, it's different to what I'm used to. But yeah, I feel like this version of the game just wasn't the best. And like I said, I'm not really too fussy when it comes to PS2 games. I play them a lot. I'm used to the fact that it's not the most powerful console. But yeah, playing this one just really didn't do it for me. I was very underwhelmed, and I'll probably trade this one in. Alright boys, the only other game I've not finished this month is a game that I will finish. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but that game is going to be Kingdom Hearts 2. This game is phenomenal, okay? It's absolutely incredible. The only reason I have not finished it yet is it is quite a long game, and I don't play long games super often. And a lot of the games I play are usually, I don't know, sort of 6 to 10 hours tops. I do quite enjoy shorter games because you can just play them, enjoy them, and then move on to the next thing. So yeah, I don't play like big RPGs all the time. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts is probably around about 30 hours. I'm probably, I don't know, 23, 4 hours into it maybe. But yeah, from what I've played of it so far, it is absolutely incredible. I really like the story here, especially at the beginning of the game. I was a little bit confused because I didn't play all of the spin-off games. I've only actually played Kingdom Hearts 1 before this, but I think I got the gist of what was going on, and I found Roxas a really interesting character. Like, he's kind of inside of Sora, so he exists, but he doesn't. It's a bit confusing. It's nothing a 20-minute analysis video on YouTube won't fix, but yeah, I was a tiny bit confused about how that works, but I found everything around the organization and all of the nobody super interesting. But of course, the main thing with this game is looking for Kairi and Riku, and I'm hoping by the end of the game we will achieve that. But yeah, of course, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 2, boys, the best thing about it has to be that gameplay. The gameplay is phenomenal. I absolutely adore Kingdom Hearts 1, but I won't lie, it is a little bit clunky to go back to on the PlayStation 2. Like, I don't know if you guys have played it on the PS2, but for some reason to like rotate the camera, you have to use the bumpers, which is a bit odd, whereas in Kingdom Hearts 2, you get to use the right analog stick to move the camera, and of course, that works a lot better. On top of that as well, you've got a really decent combat system here that's just super fun. You can do a lot more combos now, and there's just a nice sort of fluency about the combat. Kingdom Hearts 1 is super fun, but yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 just really ups it in the gameplay department. Another thing as well is I was really surprised about how good this game looks. I couldn't believe it was a PS2 game. Like, it looks genuinely stunning. I also absolutely love the different locations you go in this game. Now, if you've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, you basically go to these different Disney places, like from different Disney movies. There is quite a few areas that I've already visited in Kingdom Hearts 1, so they kind of are repeat, like the Nightmare Before Christmas place and the Aladdin place. Can't remember what they're called, but yeah. But there's also quite a few new places, like the black and white Mickey place, and I found that just aesthetically incredible. They also changed the character designs in some of these places, like in that black and white place. They made Sora sort of like a basic sketch looking. I can't quite describe it, but you'll be seeing it right now. But yeah, I just like the little aesthetic changes they did in certain places, so I found that super cool. Yeah, I just overall am really liking Kingdom Hearts 2. I think it's an absolutely incredible sequel. If I had one complaint with this game, and it might seem a little bit petty, but it was just something that I was a little bit disappointed with. Basically, guys, I've had this Funko Pop for like the longest time. It's a Sora Christmas Funko Pop. I got this from my mum a good few years ago now, I can't remember, and I thought this was awesome. And I was under the impression that this was from Kingdom Hearts 2, so I was really looking forward to seeing this costume. But it turns out this costume is actually an exclusive to the Final Mix version of Kingdom Hearts 2. It's not actually in the original. So yeah, when I got to Christmas Town and I didn't see this outfit, I just saw the Halloween costume, I was a little bit disappointed. So yeah, that's my one little issue with Kingdom Hearts 2. It's a bit petty and a little bit silly, but yeah, that's the only thing that I was underwhelmed with. Anyway, guys, I could keep talking about Kingdom Hearts 2. I could go on forever. This game is phenomenal. If you haven't played it, you definitely should. Okay then, boys, let's jump onto a little bit of portable here with this game right here, and that is going to be Uppers. So yeah, this is my first ever Japanese game I've ever bought. I've never bought a Japanese import game. But yeah, when it comes to the PS Vita, it's a pretty tricky system to collect for. There's not, I mean, there is a lot of games, but it's just hard, you know. They're not like readily available, like let's say the PS2. You can't just walk into a CEX and buy loads of games. So I'm at that point now with the PS Vita where I've got most of what I want for it, at least the common stuff. So I started looking around at imports and I saw this and I thought, oh, that looks pretty cool. But yeah, from what I gathered from the game, you didn't really need to know Japanese to actually get through and play this game. So I thought it'd be a good one to give a go. And yeah, I've beaten the whole thing, and you really don't need to know any Japanese. It would help if you knew Japanese, because obviously you would understand the story and everything going on in it, and I have no idea what the story of this game was about. But yeah, when it comes to the gameplay, you really don't need to know the language, because it's a very simple game. You just go around beating people up. It's basically Yakuza, but on the PS Vita. It's very over the top, it's very silly, it's very goofy. The combos are fun though, and it's just a good time. And this game does have a absolute ton of fan service, so if you like hot chicks, you'll probably dig this game. Yeah, it's just a very over the top beat 'em up game. It's very simple. There's not really a great deal to talk about with it. But anyway, Uppers was a pretty damn fun game, guys, so if you're into the PS Vita, I would definitely recommend it. Okay then, boys, let's hop onto the Nintendo DS with a game that I've had in my collection for a very long time, and that is going to be Professor Layton. So yeah, I've had this since I was a kid. This is actually my childhood copy of this one, and I liked this game as a kid, but I didn't get super far. I probably only got to like chapter 3 as a kid. I just probably got bored of it and played something else. But yeah, I decided to play it because it's been in the backlog for ages. And I gotta say, I very much enjoyed my time with Professor Layton. It's a very simple game. You just go around solving puzzles and riddles. Truth be told, puzzles aren't really my thing. I'm not really a big sort of puzzle guy fan, but I did really like this. It was very addictive as well. Like, I actually ended up doing every single puzzle in the game. I think there's like 120 in total, and I did all of them. I'm by no means a completionist either. I literally just beat most games. I don't go for platinum trophies. I very rarely go for 100% completion, but there was just something so addictive about the puzzles in Professor Layton. I'd be sitting on the toilet playing this game, and I'd be like, all right, we'll just do one more puzzle, you know, and I'd be like 10 minutes before bed, and I'd whack this game on and just do a couple of puzzles. And when it comes to the difficulty of some of these puzzles, it kind of varied. Like, there's obviously some super easy ones, but there are some really hard ones, and there's some stupid ones too. There's some puzzles in this game that I think are dumb. My least favorite puzzle by a mile was there was one where it tells you about some monster that you've got to locate. And there's loads of little things that I thought, oh, that could be a monster, so I'd click it and it would tell me I'm wrong, and it kept doing that over and over and over again. I just kept guessing and getting it wrong, and it was like, who is it? Like, where's the monster? It turns out the monster was like the moon or something. I'm like, that's the stupidest puzzle ever. But yeah, most of the puzzles are pretty good. I very much enjoyed like majority of them. Again, there are some pretty tough ones that I did have to look up on YouTube because my brain was hurting. But yeah, I really enjoyed Layton. I thought it was a super fun game, and it also had a really good story. This game has got like a ton of cutscenes, which is pretty cool for a DS game. It's not something you really expect. Yeah, I really enjoyed the ending to this game. I thought that was cool. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of these. Alright then boys, moving on to another Nintendo DS game. This one was a really good game. I really enjoyed it, and that's going to be Dementium the Ward. So yeah, for those who don't know, I picked this up very recently, and it's basically a first-person survival horror game, so that is just well up my street. I do love a good survival horror game, and I've never ever played this one before, and yeah, it was really, really good. And there's not really much of a story with this game, you know, it's not really quite like a Silent Hill or anything like that. It doesn't really have much of a story at all, but I found the atmosphere and the gameplay to this one really, really intriguing for a DS game. I thought it was super awesome. First of all, the game runs silky smooth. I think it runs at 60 frames per second, which is incredible for a DS game. All of the different guns feel pretty damn amazing. You've got the basic pistol, shotgun, that sort of thing, but you've also got like chainsaws in this game, which is just amazing, and that was my favorite weapon in the game by a mile. And there's a revolver in this game that's super overpowered, and you've even got a machine gun, which I was like kind of like, wow, you know, like I was quite blown away by that. If I'm not mistaken as well, I do also think there's a sniper rifle in the game, but I unfortunately wasn't able to get it. You have to do some puzzle to unlock it, and I completely missed it, so that was annoying. But yeah, like I said, the atmosphere to this one is actually super cool. I wouldn't call it scary, like this game is not scary at all. The monster designs are quite cool and quite creepy, but you're not gonna get scared. But playing this one at night with a pair of earphones in, it's got a nice little eerie atmosphere, you know, as you're like going through this like demented hospital. I just thought it was cool. But yeah, for a horror game on the DS, I thought it did a pretty decent job, you know. I felt like it did the best it could. The only thing I need to do now though, boys, is get the sequel to this game, which is very expensive. It's like £125 at CEX. So yeah, that's probably a game I'm gonna have to pick up with vouchers at some point. I don't think I want to pay £125 for a DS game, but I will get it at some point. Anyway, Dementium in the Ward, very much recommend that. Alright boys, it's time to talk about a little bit of retro. I had a really good time with my Mega Drive this month. I've recently had a little bit of a setup change, so basically in this game room here, I used to have my CRT TV, but I've actually moved it into my office. The reason for that is it just wasn't really getting any use in the game room because it was in a bit of an awkward position. It just wasn't particularly easy to use. But since moving it into my office, it's a lot easier now. I can just sit down and enjoy some retro. And yeah, because of that, I've been playing my Mega Drive quite a bit, and I did play a couple of games, and the first one is going to be Sunset Riders. So yeah, for those who don't know, this is a pretty expensive game. I think I paid £80 for this one. I bought it last year, and it was on like my Mega Drive hit list. It was one of those games I really wanted in the collection. I did dabble with it a little bit, but I never finished it. I just sort of had a little go on it and thought, yeah, that was pretty cool, and it just sort of sat there for a while. But yeah, since setting up the Mega Drive, I thought, you know what, I think it's time I actually play through and beat that game. And yeah, it was a really fun and awesome game. It was very short, I will admit. It wasn't a particularly long game. I beat this game in about 3 or 4 tries. I think there's only about 4 stages in the entire game, and they're all pretty easy, even the boss fights. Like, I think the only boss that even gave me a little bit of trouble was the final boss. But yeah, the first 3 bosses were like mega easy. Like, I was actually surprised at how easy this entire game kind of was. But yeah, the gameplay's super fun. It's like a platformer slash shoot 'em up sort of thing. You guys will see the gameplay. You'll see what kind of game it is. It's a very colourful game. Each level just looks very different. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Music as well is absolutely fantastic, but you would kind of expect it. It's a Mega Drive game, you know. I can't think of a single Mega Drive game that has bad music. I think every single Mega Drive game I've ever played has really good music, and yeah, Sunset Riders is no different. But yeah, I think the only negative I do have with this game is the fact that it is super duper short. Like I said, I paid quite a lot of money for this game, and I beat it really quickly. I don't really mind a short game. Like, my backlog is ridiculously long, but when you spend nearly 100 quid on something, you kind of expect it to be, I don't know, you expect to get at least a few hours out of it. Yeah, I probably spent about 1 hour tops with Sunset Riders because it is such a short and easy game. But nevertheless, I really enjoyed this game, and I will replay it again because there is an alternate character you can play the game through with. I played the game through with a guy called Kamano. He's got like an awesome shotgun, but next time I play this game, I'll use the other dude. But yeah, nonetheless though, boys, Sunset Riders, pretty awesome game, just a little bit too short in my opinion. Alright then fellas, this Mega Drive game was one that is just 10 out of 10. This is one of my favourite Mega Drive games of all time. Yeah, that game is going to be Rocket Knight Adventures. Oh my goodness me, what a game this is. If I break this game down into almost every aspect, I think I love everything about it. It's a really good length. It's not as short as something like Sunset Riders. It's not like long, but you know, I feel like it's a good length. The difficulty for me was perfect. I didn't think it was too easy or too hard. I felt like it was just bang exactly where it should be. The game has ridiculous variety. You've got shmup levels, you've got platforming levels, you've got really awesome, just weird levels. The boss fights are all really unique. The game has a banger of a soundtrack, genuinely one of the best soundtracks ever. And the boss music in this game, it just hits so hard. I've got it stuck on my head as we speak. I think visually this game is phenomenal. It's one of the best looking Mega Drive games I've played. And yeah, I just think everything about this game is perfect. I'm genuinely trying to think of a single thing I dislike about this game, and nothing's coming to mind. Like, literally not a single thing about this game I dislike. I genuinely think it's a perfect platformer. If you haven't played Rocket Knight Adventures, you need to, okay? You really need to. Genuinely, my only concern with this game is the fact that the sequel is very expensive, and I need to play the sequel. I think it's called Sparkster or something like that. I need that game in my life, but it's not cheap. But yeah, that aside, boys, I can't think of a lot to say about it. I just think it's a perfect game. So yeah, play this one if you can. Alright, boys, we've got 3 games remaining, and the next one I want to talk about is a game that I have played before. I liked it, but I fancy playing it again, and that is going to be Homefront. So yeah, like I said, back in the day, I did play this one. I picked it up as a teenager. I think it was from Game. This was before Game was a complete shit business, and it was actually quite good back then. And I do remember playing through the single-player campaign, but I think I'm more, like, was into the multiplayer. Back then, I used to play almost any sort of shooting game multiplayer. I loved, obviously, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Killzone. I played all of these games, and Homefront had a pretty fun multiplayer that I played quite a bit. But yeah, I was just kind of in the mood for, like, a Call of Duty style campaign, and I thought I would just give this one a go, because I remember it being pretty short. And yeah, I was right. It was very short. I beat it in, like, 2 days. It didn't take long at all. And yeah, I was actually quite surprised by how serious this game was at times. Like, for the majority of it, you're just going around shooting stuff and it's pretty fun, but this game is kind of fucked up. Like, the intro to this game, you're hearing babies crying and parents screaming and stuff, and I was like, bloody hell, like, this game was messed up. A little bit later on in the game, you're walking past this bridge, and all of a sudden you see people getting hung up by the neck, and I was like, bloody hell. So yeah, this game does have some really, like, serious moments in the campaign. Like, it's not all just shooting people. There is some kind of crazy moments. But yeah, the premise of this one is basically like North Korea and South Korea unite and invade America, and I think they're winning the war. So yeah, the premise alone I thought was pretty interesting. I won't sit here and say it's a masterpiece of a story, but you know, it's not too bad. I think the only thing I will say about this game in terms of like critiques is the fact that it just is quite basic. Even though the game is super short, you kind of just go from place to place, shoot people, move on. It doesn't really do anything new. But yeah, I did think this game had some interesting moments for sure, and yeah, it's a pretty cheap game. You can pick this up for like £1 at CEX, so I would say give it a whirl. I don't think it's too bad. Alright, boys, this next one is one that I wanted in my collection for quite a while. It took me ages to find it, even though it's a cheap game, and I finally got it recently. And that game is going to be Sniper Elite V2. So last month I played Sniper Elite 1, and I very much enjoyed that. I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, when it comes to Sniper Elite V2, I thought this game was absolutely amazing. I have very fond memories playing these Sniper Elite games. I think my favorite was Sniper Elite 3. I just adored that one for whatever reason. But yeah, I never did finish Sniper Elite V2 back in the day. I had it and I liked it a lot, but for whatever reason I just never got around to completing it. I was a little bit like that when I was a teenager. I would kind of just play something and I would move on to the next thing, and I'd play a bit of that and move on to the next thing. I would just be like a little bit scatterbrained with games. Nowadays I will sit through and complete a game before moving on to the next one, because I don't like leaving games unfinished unless they're just shit. But even then I will sit and play shit games just to get them completed sometimes. Anyway, Sniper Elite V2 was an interesting one, boys, because I felt like it kind of dumbed down the gameplay from the original, but actually made it better. What I mean by that is that Sniper Elite 1 has got some pretty deep stealth stuff going on. The game has a lot of mechanics that have you focusing on not being caught, as well as the fact that it has things like bullet drop, and it's quite a deep game. Sniper Elite V2 says fuck all of that and just lets you go around shooting people with a sniper rifle, which is exactly what I want in my life. And I don't think there's any bullet drop in this game, and yeah, you can basically go through the whole game without having to worry about stealth. And that's where I'm at as a gamer, boys. I just want to shoot stuff. I want to shoot people in the head, see their skulls crack from the bullets. That's what I want. Maybe that's a little bit fucked up on my part, but I don't know. That's just what I enjoy in this game. But yeah, for that reason, there's not really a lot to say about Sniper Elite V2 because it is quite a simple game. You just go around with a sniper and shoot people, and you see cool X-rays, and it's fun. But for me, that's all I want, boys. I don't really want a lot when I'm playing these sniper games. I just want to shut my brain off and just shoot stuff, and it's what it gives me. So yeah, Sniper Elite V2, absolutely absolutely fantastic sniper game. Would 100% recommend it if you've never played it. Okay then boys, it comes down to the final game, and this one is one that I picked up very recently, and that is going to be Undisputed for the PS5. So as you guys will know, or maybe you don't know, I'm kind of going for like a complete boxing game collection. That's not entirely true. I'm not going to be getting every single boxing game, but I at least want to get the really good ones. I want to get all the Fight Night games. I want to get some of the silly and goofy ones. I just want to get as many boxing games as I can get my hands on. And I picked up Undisputed pretty recently on Amazon. I think it was like 25 quid, which I thought was a pretty good deal. So yeah, I decided to play a career mode on Undisputed, and yeah, it was really fun. Would I say it's as good as something like a Fight Night? Well, probably not. It's probably not on that level. I think the Fight Night games are a lot smoother and just a little bit more polished. This game has some weird like arm stuff going on, like your arms will just sort of spasm out sometimes, which I thought was weird, and I don't ever remember anything like that happening in Fight Night. It just plays a lot more, I don't know, it's just a bit more polished. But yeah, that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy Undisputed. I felt like it was a very fun game. I enjoyed punching people, you know, there's not really a lot else to boxing. I did like the fact that in Undisputed there's no mini games in the career mode, because I find them super repetitive, so I'm glad they took those out. But yeah, I think the thing I like about Undisputed the most is the fact that they just got the difficulty spot on. I feel like with boxing games, they're either way too hard or way too easy, and there's not really an in-between. Like an example of that for me would be Facebreaker. That was a bit of like an arcadey boxing game, and that game is just really fucking hard in comparison to something like Ready to Rumble Boxing, which again is a bit of an arcadey boxing game, but it's just way too easy. But playing through the career mode on Undisputed, I felt like they just got that balancing spot on. I played the game on medium difficulty, and it just felt perfect. I had quite a few losses on my career mode. I had quite a lot of wins as well. I got knockouts. I got knocked out myself. I had some really tough fights. I had some easy fights. I just felt like it was kind of perfect. But yeah, when it comes to the fights in my career mode, there was a few that were super memorable to me, one of which would have to be Deontay Wilder. I fought Deontay Wilder quite a few times, and we just went to town. I'd be completely outboxing him, and then out of nowhere, he'd hit me with this fucking right hand from Doom and just put me on my ass, which is kind of exactly how Deontay Wilder fights in real life. Like, if you watch a Deontay Wilder fight, he'll be getting outboxed, and out of nowhere, he knocks you out. Like, and I found that pretty cool. I also had some really tough fights with Frank Bruno for whatever reason. He kept knocking me down. I think I fought him twice, and I think he beat me the first time, but I beat him in the rematch. But I think my favorite opponent by a mile had to be Rocky Marciano. I'm pretty sure I had a trilogy of fights with Rocky Marciano, and they got better every single time. The first time I fought him, I beat him pretty comfortably, but the second time was a really good fight, and the third time I think was a unification fight for all the belts, and it was the hardest fight in the game for me. It was so tough. We were genuinely just knocking each other down, and I think I stopped him pretty late. It was crazy. So yeah, I had a pretty good time with the career mode on Undisputed. I won all of the belts and decided to retire. I just felt like that was a good place to call it. I think I'm going to do that with pretty much all the boxing games I get, is I'm just going to play the career mode. I'm going to win as much as I can, and once I've won everything, I'm just going to hit retire and move on to the next. And if I am going to be trying to get like a full set of boxing games, I don't really want to be getting bored with them because I'm going to be playing a lot of them. So yeah, I'm just going to win the stuff and then move. Anyway, Undisputed was pretty damn fun, boys. I very much enjoyed it. Is it a perfect boxing game? Probably not, but I thought it was decent fun. Alright then, boys and girls, that is all of the games I played this month. Overall, there's a lot here. I had a really good time, in particular with the Mega Drive. I think I'd probably say that was my favorite console this month. But yeah, overall, I very much enjoyed the games I played. So do let me know in the comments what games you have been playing. Have you been playing some new stuff, some old stuff, some good stuff, some bad stuff? Let me know what you've been up to. But yeah, that's going to do it for today, boys. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, like the video and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Peace.